Freesat is a free-to-air digital satellite television joint venture between the BBC and ITV plc, serving the United Kingdom. The service was formed as a memorandum in 2007 and has been marketed since May 6, 2008. Freesat offers a satellite alternative to the Freeview service on digital terrestrial television, with a broadly similar selection of channels available without subscription for users purchasing a receiver. The service also makes use of the additional capacity available on digital satellite broadcasting to offer a selection of high-definition programming from the BBC, ITV plc, Channel 4, NHK and RT UK. Freesat's main competitors are Freeview and Freesat from Sky. History. Background. The BBC and ITV, the two biggest free-to-air broadcasters in the UK, make their services available digitally through three routes: free-to-air via digital terrestrial and digital satellite, and subscription only via digital cable. On digital terrestrial, the channels have always been available free-to-air with the appropriate equipment. In 2007, Freeview was available to only 73% of the population. After analog TV services were replaced in the digital switchover, this increased to 98.5% for the public service channels and 90% for the full Freeview service. To provide more widespread coverage and a larger number of channels, a digital satellite alternative was felt necessary. Initially, both the BBC's and ITV's channels were encrypted since the original Astra satellites used for Sky broadcast to most of Europe, but the broadcasters' rights for premium content such as films and sports typically covered the UK only. The use of encryption meant that anyone wishing to view the channels had to purchase equipment from Sky and pay for a free-to-view viewing card to decrypt the channels. Similarly, to use the video card encryption, the broadcasters needed to pay a fee to NDS Group. Move to free-to-air. In May 2003, the BBC moved most of its channels from the Astra 2A satellite to Astra 2D, which has a footprint that focuses more tightly on the UK. This move allowed the BBC to stop encrypting its broadcasts while continuing to meet its rights obligations. It dropped the encryption 2 months later. 2 months later, ITV, whose channels had already been located on the Astra 2D satellite since launching on the Sky platform some years earlier, also made their channel free-to-air. On November 18, 2008, Channel 5 commenced broadcasting a single channel via Freesat, eventually adding its ancillary services 5 USA and 5 3 years later in December 2011. Viva moved from free-to-view to free-to-air on satellite on March 19, 2013, before launching on Freesat on April 2, 2013. On April 2, 2013, all 7 of Box Television's channels left Sky's subscription package, with 6 becoming free-to-air on satellite. On April 15, 4 of the channels The Box, Kerrang! TV, Kiss TV and Smash Hits were added to the Freesat EPG. This was followed by Heat and Magic on April 29. The free-to-air channels can be received using any standard digital satellite receiver, although those not licensed by Freesat will need to be retuned manually if when channel frequencies are changed. Managed service. The Freesat project aims to provide a managed service with an electronic program guide and interactive features similar to the Freeview service launched 3 years earlier. Unlike Freeview, however, these features are only available on approved receivers manufactured under license from Freesat. The initial plan was to launch the service in early 2006. This was postponed to autumn 2007 as approval from the BBC Trust was only received in April 2007. However, the service was further delayed and was officially launched on May 6, 2008. Launch channels. The service launched officially on May 6, 2008. From the launch, Freesat advertised all national television channels from the BBC and ITV as being available on the platform, as well as all national BBC radio networks. Channel 4 also managed to make most of its channels free-to-air in preparation for the launch. In addition, some channels from other broadcasters such as Cello Zone, CSC Media Group, Al Jazeera English, RIA Novosti and Euronews were included on the channel list. High definition. BBC HD was the only high-definition channel available on Freesat from launch day, with ITV HD added as a red button interactive service from June 7, 2008. On April 2, 2010, ITV HD changed from an interactive service to a full-time channel called ITV1 HD, simulcasting the main ITV1 channel. The name was changed back to ITV HD on January 14, 2013. BBC One HD, a high-definition simulcast of BBC One, was made available on Freesat and other platforms on November 3, 2010. Channel 4 HD also became available on the platform on April 19, 2011. NHK World HD was added to Freesat on May 9, 2011. It shared its channel number with its standard definition counterpart and was therefore only listed on high-definition receivers, which were unable to access the standard definition channel via the EPG. On July 23, 2012, the BBC added 24 temporary channels to cover the 2012 Summer Olympics. The channels share their EPG slot with their standard definition counterpart. On August 29, 2012, Channel 4 added 3 temporary channels covering the 2012 Summer Paralympics in high definition from the following day. The 3 channels also share their EPG slots. On February 14, 2013, RTHD was added to Freesat, sharing its channel number with its standard definition simulcast. On March 26, 2013, BBC HD was replaced by a high-definition simulcast of BBC Two. On June 13, 2013, an HD stream of the BBC Red Button was temporarily made available on the EPG. On July 16, 2013, the BBC announced they would be launching 5 new HD channels in early 2014. The 5 channels were in fact launched earlier on December 10, 2013. Regional variations some channels are transmitted in regional variations and the appropriate services are selected by the Freesat receiver from the user's postcode. In March 2010, ITV altered several of their regions from free-to-air transmission to free-to-view. As a result, a few Freesat viewers were moved to regional variations not corresponding to their actual location. Future channels and recent launches on October 29, 2015, PBS America will become available on Freesat. Video on demand, the BBC began to roll out a beta version of BBC iPlayer for Freesat devices in early 2010. BBC iPlayer is an internet-based service with around 2,500 hours of television being available on demand. ITV Player is available for Humax, Manhattan, and some Sagecom devices. In 2010, Freesat also indicated an intent to launch a receiver featuring the UView service and said that the video-on-demand services for OD and Demand 5 were under consideration. On July 28, 2011, the BBC Trust approved proposals to introduce the listing of paid content delivered on demand via broadband. The Trust will allow the BBC to continue to play a part in Freesat as the plans did not represent a significant change to the approval previously given in 2007. There was no need for a public value test or for further regulatory process. Under the plans, some paid content, such as films, would be added to the Freesat EPG alongside the existing free-to-air content. However, there would be no adult material or live-streamed sports coverage. Freesat itself will not supply any of the on-demand content, but will allow third parties to do so through its EPG. Some content will also be made available through existing channels using an on-screen prompt that would take viewers to an on-demand environment. Pay TV sales would be handled by a third party, with Freesat operating the conditional access system that would underpin it. The plan is to use the upcoming launch of G2 spec receivers to add support for digital rights management and where technically possible on existing receivers. On November 29, 2011, a beta trial for the subscription-based on-demand movie service Box Office 365 was added to the Freesat EPG. On March 11, 2013, Box Office 365 withdrew from Freesat. The Freedom Guide also features a backwards EPG and a showcase section offering recommendations. HTML versions of iPlayer and ITV Player will also launch. Both services use MHEG5 on first-generation devices. YouTube launched on FreeTime receivers on March 7, 2013, the first deployment of YouTube's HTML app in a Western European TV service. 4OD launched on Freesat's FreeTime receivers on June 27, 2013, making Freesat the first UK TV platform to host the HTML5 version of 4OD. Demand 5 arrived on Freesat on August 6, 2013. Reception equipment. Receivers. At the launch of the service, there were two types of Freesat receivers available: a Euro standard definition-only receivers and high-definition capable receivers. As of July 2010, there are 11 companies licensed to produce Freesat boxes and televisions. Humax launched a Freesat recorder, Freesat Plus, which became available to the public in November 2008. On October 17, 2012, Humax released the first FreeTime receiver, the Humax HDR 1000S. Televisions. Following the initial launch, Panasonic introduced 3 plasma televisions with integrated HD Freesat receivers. At the end of October 2008, Panasonic brought out 2 more sizes, which are the 32 inches and 37. In April 2009, LG launched 4 LCD TVs with built-in Freesat receivers. The LG series is the LF7700, with screen sizes of 32 inches, 37, 42, and 47. Sony have released 2 televisions with Freesat receivers, the W5810 and Z5800 series, available from sizes 32 inches up to 52, and in 100 Hz and 200 Hz alternatives. Satellite dish. The service makes use of the same fleet of satellites as the subscription satellite service Sky, Astra 28.2 and Eutelsat 28A. This means that any satellite dish which is positioned to receive these services will be capable of receiving Freesat, with the addition of a suitable receiver. Providing the LNB has sufficient outputs, a single dish may be used to receive multiple services. For users who do not currently have a satellite dish, Freesat offers an installation service which is made available through retailers and which is advertised in a leaflet included with Freesat receivers. A suitable dish may also be installed by the user or a non-Freesat affiliated installer. Ireland. While Freesat systems work in Ireland, official branded Freesat receivers are not widely or officially marketed in the country. In October 23, 2008, several Irish retail chains including Maplin, Tesco Ireland and Power City began offering modified Freesat systems from Grundig and Alba that had their Freesat branding replaced with a Sat4 Free brand name. The requirement to enter a UK postcode was removed. The systems were instead set to use the version of the electronic programme guide appropriate for Northern Ireland through a hard-coded Belfast postcode. Sat4 Free was permanently closed down shortly after. Outside the UK and Ireland. Although not intended for reception outside of the UK, it is possible to receive Freesat outside of the British Isles, although a larger dish may be required as the footprint of Astra 2E and Astra 2F is mainly focused on the UK and Ireland. Even residents of Eastern European countries, however, can often have access to the Freesat UK services. Freesat receivers, however, ask for a UK postcode during installation, to determine where regional services are placed in the EPG and channel list. Technical details: Freesat broadcasts from the same fleet of satellites as Sky. Channels are broadcast using DVB-S. The Freesat electronic program guide is broadcast from the Eutelsat 28A satellite situated at 28.5° east. Freesat's role is not broadcasting or availability of channels but instead providing a platform for receiving the channels in the EPG. All of the standard definition channels on Freesat are broadcast using DVB-S. ITV HD, NHK World HD and RT HD also use DVB-S. BBC One HD and BBC HD used DVB-S until June 6, 2011 when the satellite transponder carrying them was upgraded to DVB-S2. Channel 4 HD had launched using DVB-S2, but the transponder was downgraded to DVB-S on March 28, 2012. Standard definition channels are broadcast using MPEG-2, while high-definition channels are broadcast using MPEG-4. Interactive television is done using MHEG-5 rather than the proprietary Open TV platform used by Sky. Since the channels are broadcast in the clear, they can also be received by non-Freesat receivers, including Sky Digiboxes. The specification for Freesat boxes includes having an Ethernet port on the back. This is to allow on-demand programming from services such as BBC iPlayer or ITV Player to be viewed directly on the customer's television. Open standards and technologies form the basis of Freesat's second-generation Freetime receivers, including those from the Open IPTV Forum, the Hybrid Broadcast Broadband TV Project and HTML5 browser technology, with the majority of the Freetime user interface built using the latter. The Freetime spec also includes features such as DSEC 1.2 support, MoCA support including single cable routing, HTML, JavaScript and CSS Internet technologies for broadband-delivered interactive services, DRM for online content, and payment mechanisms for broadband services like LoveFilm. James Strickland, Freesat's Director of Product and Technology Development, explained that Freetime is a hybrid between HBB-TV and MHEG-5. Adoption. The table below attempts to show the quarterly and cumulative sales of Freesat equipment since the inception of the service. Sales rose through the first 2 quarters of the service and then averaged around 120,000 per quarter while reported, leading to total sales of 350,000 by the end of Q1, 2009. Over 80% of all sales have been high-definition receivers. In the Q4 2009 report, Ofcom reported that Freesat had announced the 1 million mark had been hit by the end of February 2010. Note: Ofcom stopped reporting Freesat penetration cumulatively and by quarter starting with their Q3 2010 report. Over 80% of cumulative Freesat unit sales by the last update in Q2 2010 were Freesat HD units, with the remainder Freesat SD. Upon release of the Q4 2010 data, Ofcom stated that the next report, scheduled for publication in June-July 2011, will be our 30th quarterly update. We have decided that in light of the progress that has been made towards digital TV conversion, it is now appropriate to move to an annual cycle of reporting, with the first annual report being published in June 2012. Indications are that Freesat penetration largely plateaued in late 2010. Digital free-to-air TV penetration is shown in Ofcom quarterly reports with digital Freesat broken out. See also, Freesat from Sky, Freeview, Zaosat a free-to-air satellite service for Ireland, list of free-to-air channels at 28°E. References. External links, official website, BBC News Q&A on Freesat, list of Freesat channels, radio and telly, Freesat Guide.